Hello Interneters, Dan Harper here. I'm in my monkey suit today because last year I did a review of 2021 talking about the good and the bad, and to be honest, in 2021 there was a lot of negatives. There's a lot of positives but also a lot of negatives. In 2022 there was a lot more positives, and so I wanted to share with you a whole bunch of the stuff that happened in 2022 on the business side, a little bit on the family side. So let me tell you about my 2022. This video is about the business of photography and some stats about how much of my work in the year was a video or aerial or event or advertising. And I also talk a little bit about my family life and how my family life affects my work. So 2022 was a lot better than 2021. A lot more contracts, a lot more work. I was a lot more active in general. However, it wasn't all smiles and sunshine. So let's talk a little bit about the negatives first to get those out of the way. One of the worst things that happened to me in 2021 was my drone smashing incident. Unfortunately, somebody smashed one of my $15,000 drones. I had to go through insurance, I had to do a whole bunch of stuff, but I can actually follow up on that now with you. The person was found guilty and now they're paying restitution, so it was a positive outcome for me. Unfortunately, it's still something that's always in my head, something I'm always thinking about when I'm out droning, and it's something that, just generally affects me because being in such a violent incident is never a positive in your life. Thankfully in 2022 I didn't have that many issues with the drone. I did have a couple of little minor incidents, but nothing really to talk about now. So now for some of the good stuff. Let's start with contracts. Now, I really like statistics. I think they can help you set goals and try and achieve better every year. The only problem with statistics is that about 16 to 17% of people make them up. About 28% of people know that. But seriously, in 2021, I had 62 contracts. And then in 2022, I had 78 contracts. Now, and a lot of those contracts that I had in 22 were also more substantial. They were for multiple days. They were for a whole bunch of extra stock photos in those cases. As for the types of photography that I do, my aerial work grew thanks in part to my social media presence in 2022. About 40% of my contracts were either aerial work or included aerial work, and I got a lot more video requests this year, which can be a lot more lucrative. Event photography was about 50% of my pre-pandemic work, and in 2022 the amount of event photography I did wasn't as much as pre-pandemic, but it was still substantially more than 2021, and I've already got a bunch of juicy events booked for 2023. My stock photography and videography numbers went up as well. About 30% of my contracts were or included stock photography or videography. I also did significantly more print sales in 2022, again thanks to my social media presence. And finally, my portrait and advertising contracts were also up. Not by such a substantial amount as my other types of photography and videography that I do, but still up from 2021, which is great. All this made for a much better year, which helps a lot to recuperate losses from the pandemic. And now on to clients. I can't do any of this without clients, and I've got some great clients. I've got really diverse clients who do a whole bunch of different types and styles of photography. I'm really lucky to have them because a lot of them are extremely organized, which helps me just do better work for them. I work for multiple different industries, from construction to tourism, aviation, finance, and way more. Most of my work is in the advertising realm, which includes everything from doing aerial, portrait, event, and video contracts. Some of my clients are confidential due to the nature of the projects, but I do want to name a bunch of them, including CPA Manitoba, Bird Construction, High-Rise Scaffolding, the RM of Morris was amazing this year, Assiniboine Park Tourism Winnipeg, City of Winnipeg, Colliers, Tappercuddy, Université de Manitoba, Université de Saint-Boniface, sa division scolaire franco-manitobaine, Harvard, Balmoral Hall, Voyageur Technical, La Liberté, St. Boniface Hospital Foundation, Case, Ernst & Young. I know I didn't name everybody, I just wanted to thank you for a great 2022. Now I want to talk a little bit about family. This was a very family-oriented year. Balancing time in life is very hard, especially since we have 3 younger kids, including a 1-year-old that needs a lot more attention. To be honest, it's nearly impossible for me to post socially every day due to having 3 kids, a wife who I like to have some one-on-one time with, and in my personal time, when I have it, I like to go on runs and just try to stay active. Now try to fit even a half-day contract in with all that and social media, it's not happening. This year Benji learned to walk, Dana got into science, and I played a lot of Fortnite with Jeremy. Playing video games with your kids is kind of like the new version of playing catch. I've been a gamer all my life and really love having that connection with my kids. But I also want to be transparent with some of the negatives. We had some major sleep issues with one of our little ones, and that really affected how much time I could put into work. And then we also had some major issues with another one of our little ones who was recently diagnosed with ADHD with a side of ODD. Now, if you know about this, you know about it, but if you don't know about this, you'll never understand the feeling when the school calls you to tell you that they had to take all of the other kids out of the classroom because your little one was throwing such a big tantrum, it just wasn't safe for other kids to be in there. Just dealing with that issue took 20 to 30 hours of time, getting the diagnosis, talking to the school and stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming my kids for anything. It takes a lot of time and effort to help them grow and mold them into your own image, mostly so that they can do the chores you don't want to. But I'm more than happy to have that experience with them to help them evolve positively for the future. However, a lot of these kid issues can take a lot of time, and that can result in lost income. So again, it's just something to keep in mind and try and balance your life in a way that you can do family and work. Now on to social media. I set some goals in 2021 that I wanted to be more active on social media. I unfortunately didn't meet all of my goals. One of my goals was just to be more present across all social media, and although I was slightly more active in 2022 than 2021, I still didn't hit all of those goals. I wanted to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube this year, and it's sad because honestly I just wasn't posting consistently enough to make that happen, so I'll have to try harder in 2023. I did have some great social media activity this year. Some of it went more viral than others. One of my most viral social media was my coverage of the flooding in Morris, where I both chartered a plane and used my drone to get footage of what I called the island of Morris. It was my most viewed video of 2022, and thanks to that video I gained a major client in the RM of Morris, doing both flood coverage and a very interesting project of hog barn inspections. That was really neat. Again, very diverse. It was great to hang out with Trevor, and I can only hope that I get more clients like this. I had a handful of other YouTube videos, including some Northern Lights ones, but one of the other ones that did really well was the Tyndall grain elevator demolition. But again, unfortunately, I didn't hit my goal of 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. If you can hit the subscribe button now, I'd really appreciate that. For some of my other social media that did really well, there was some shots on Instagram like Festival du Voyageur in the winter, even the Winter Golden Boy, Summer behind the cathedral. The Assiniboine Park aerials of the Leaf were incredible. I also found a Remax balloon floating really close to the downtown area. I had a bunch of Northern Lights shots do well, and this shot of either the bat signal or an anvil, depending on how you look at it. On my Twitter, my most social shots were Table for 1,000 at Assiniboine Park, lightning over the Provencher Bridge, and of course my biggest post of the year was the flooding in Morris, which got well over 100,000 views. For the most part, I cross-posted a lot of my shots. I posted on both Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, but I did do a bunch of unique shots to each one of them, so it's a good thing to be subscribed on all of those social media. Again, the links are in the description. Being fairly active on social media in 2022, I found out some really interesting things about each social media and how their different algorithms work. Each media has its little niche, but each of them also brought me contracts in 2022, which I really appreciate, and those are things that I can talk about in a future video. This year, I'll once again be trying to be active on social media, but a little bit more realistically active. Social media is another full-time job, and if you want to feed the algorithms, you got to be on there almost every day. But I won't pretend that I'm going to be active every day or even every week, and that's simply because my contracts are way more important to me than my socials. Social media for me is just advertising. Although the potential for future clients is important, current clients who I have contracts with are way more important, and I want to be able to give clients their work in good time, even early if possible, and that's why I always put social media as a distant second to my current clients. If you're not subscribed to me on all my socials, on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, please do so. It helps out a lot to feed the algorithms, but it also helps my brain because if I see a post getting a lot of likes, then I can get enthusiastic about it and post more like it. Don't forget to hit that like button on all of the social media. It really helps out. I know there's a lot of people who just kind of scroll by, see a great photo, enjoy it, and then keep moving. But if you can hit that like button on any of my social media, I really appreciate it. It's a good reminder that I'm not sucking. And even if a post video or photo isn't your favorite, please just consider leaving a like just because of the sheer amount of time that it takes. Just as an example, this video itself took about 3 or 4 hours to write out, about 27 hours to clean my office here, and then another 7 hours to put together the actual video itself and edit it. So again, hit like even if it's just for the effort. So that's it, the good, the bad, and the better of 2022. Huge thanks if you stuck around for the whole video. Huge thanks to my clients, but again, huge thanks to you, the viewers of these videos, the liker of my socials, and the typers of the comments. I really appreciate you all making this a worthwhile experience being socially online. One last reminder to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, and I'll type more with you in 2023. Thanks again for watching. Have a great 2023.